All right, cool. Well, once again, thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview. It's always great when you guys are able to put out new music, and the fact that we are getting a new album from you guys in 2020 with Carnival of Killers, it's such a great album, and I think it's something that we really need here in 2020.
Yeah, it's been a bad year. It's been a real bad year for everybody, especially bands. I'm kind of glad this album is coming out late in the year. So, I mean, if we would have came out earlier in the year with it, can't tour it, then, so I'm looking forward, hopefully, to start touring again, like, whenever this, the shows open up again, and, hopefully sometime early next year.
Yeah, that's really what I'm hoping for as well, too, because this is the kind of album I really want to experience live. I mean, there's so many great tracks on here that I think would just go over so well with the live crowd. And, again, like I said, just like the fact that you guys were able to get together and put out new music here in 2020 with this bad year, it gives me something to look forward to in 2021 when hopefully shows will come back.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't played since our last Christmas show last year in December, so I'm really looking forward to getting out there and playing a lot of the new songs off the new album. So, I mean, of course, we still have to play some of the old ones. People, are going to want to hear it, but I'm going to try to do a nice percentage of the album when I play live.
Oh, it's such a great way to do it, too, and there's so many great songs on here, too, and I really love the thematics of what you're going for with this album. I mean, being able to show off all these serial killers and, everything from, like, the Where's Waldo album artwork to, just really figuring out what song is for what killer when you get to listen to it. I mean, it's so cool piecing that all together.
I'm glad you like it. That's great. It, makes me smile. I hope everyone else feels the same about it. So far, it seems like pretty good response from all the interviews I'm doing. You guys get to hear it before it comes out. So, but yeah, I'm glad you like it. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, and I mean that too. I mean, whether you guys are doing more of the straight ahead stuff or you do some amazing work like Wheels on the Bug or Them Dry Bones. I mean, just being able to incorporate so many different styles of what you guys are doing, and just showing that you guys are still keeping strong with what you guys do best in 2020, and despite everything going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on this album, I really tried to. I guess it's a progression of us. I really tried to write a lot of variety on this album. I really tried to do a lot of different music styles on it, and I really focused a lot on the vocals and really tried to do a lot of different voices on there. And, I just love variety, we could always, we could go stuff up all the time if we wanted to, but I can't afford to, just the same kind of voice or style all the time. So I really tried to push this album with the vocals and the music.
Yeah, and I can absolutely hear it through here, too. I mean, it just really sounds like you guys are having fun with this record, and that's the way it should be, too. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of serious things that are going on about the people. I mean, with all these different kinds of serial killers. I mean, obviously, it's heavy subjects, but you guys have a way to make it sound so fun at the same time. And, when I'm hearing about serial killers and I have such a huge smile on my face because of the music about them, I think that's a good time.
Yeah, sure, cool. I really enjoy, this was a lot of work for me, this album. We did the drum tracks and did the bass tracks. And then it's, I'm in the studio for a long time. I did all the vocals on this one myself. The bass player lives in a different state, so he came out and learned the songs, and I really didn't have time to work on the vocals and the keys with him and trying to do any kind of harmonies or anything like that. So he's just like, you just do it, man. I'm like, cool, I don't mind, but yeah, I really enjoy the studio. Probably, I don't know, it's hard to say. I love doing live, but I really love going in the studio and creating this stuff, and finally hearing the end product when we're all done mixing it and everything. I think I like the studio just as much as my live.
Oh, that's such a great thing to hear, too, because when you are in a band, I think both of those are so important when, obviously, you're trying to go out there and play for as much as you can. I mean, when you have quality songs that you can put into the studio, you want to make sure that they're going to sound the best that they possibly can. That way people want to go out and see those live shows. So, having that mindset that you can enjoy both of them it's a really good way to go about it.
Yeah, I've actually heard some people saying they don't really like the studio too much and stuff, but I always love going in there, and I love to sing. I've sang since I was pretty young, and, I sang along with the radio since I was, can remember as a little kid and stuff, and so I always got into singing and just, doing music and, creating new sounds.
Oh, yeah, and when you're in the studio, you get to see how those really sound on record too. I mean, when you come up with these new ideas or you want to be able to try something out, new gear, whatever the case is. I mean, when you get to go in the studio and really try those things out, vocals, instruments, whatever the case is, I mean, I think that comes with a lot of influence of what you can do in the future as well.
Yeah, for sure. I always have, when I go in the studio, I kind of have it in my head the way I want it to sound, and, being able to actually copy what I'm thinking in my head and, that's exactly what I wanted to sound like on this and stuff. It's really fun for me.
Oh, definitely. And thinking about that this time around, I mean, obviously with such a great theme with Carnival of Killers, I mean, what was it like for you to go out and choose who you wanted to sing about on this record?
Well, we did this in the past. You've heard our Dahmer album?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's, that was like a theme album about one guy. It's like a musical about Dahmer. And, some of the old killers we sang about in the past, some of these guys deserve more than like one song. Like Richard Ramirez, we did a song about him in the past. Albert Fish, Ed Gein. So this is what I did on this album was kind of my way around having to do like a whole album on one of these guys, and it gives it more variety too instead of singing about one guy for the whole album. So this is kind of my way around it, and so I wanted to go back on a lot of these old killers, Gacy and all these guys that I figured, okay, I could do a new song about this guy about some other different points in his life or whatever, and and then I also went and looked for some new killers that we didn't sing about. So it's kind of like half and half. It's half guys we've already sang about, and the other half are new killers that we never sang about in the past. And I tried to pick the interesting ones, of course. So, not just like a spree killer that goes out and shoots a bunch of people or something like that. I try to pick the goofy ones, like Leonardo Cianciulli. She would kill ladies and make them into tea cakes and soap and stuff like that. Stuff where it's just not your normal spree killer or something like that. So we try to kind of pick the goofy ones, the cannibal killers, and the real strange ones.
Oh yeah, and the more that you listen to the lyrics too, I mean, the more crazy everything gets, and the way that it is accompanied by the music. I mean, I love the way that you approach that too, because as crazier the killers get on there, it really, you guys really found a way to match that with the music, and it just meshes together so well when it comes to that.
Well, thanks. I've always, I kind of grew up in a different era than a lot of the younger metal bands and stuff like that. So, I grew up listening to children's albums my mom would buy me and stuff with all these happy melodies on there. So this is something that just came out when I started writing. Like, I'm like, okay, I like doing these happy melodies and stuff. And I think when we sing about these cannibal killers with these like children's melodies in there and stuff, just makes it sound that much more crazy and demented,
Oh, absolutely. And that's what put a huge smile on my face, especially the first time that I got to spin the record, because, it's just like being able to hear those and just thinking back to my childhood too, hearing songs like Wheels on the Bus and just hearing how repetitive those songs are, how happy those songs are supposed to be. And then hearing your approach to it as well too. It's just like, it just puts a huge smile on my face seeing how you can turn that and make it so morbid.
I guess we've always kind of done that, in the past where we threw in these happy melodies. And, I don't think a lot of bands would even want to do that, or, they've played brutal stuff their whole career and stuff. And, I don't think a lot of bands could get away with doing that. People are like, what is that? But we've always kind of done it, though. It just fits with our theme, I think.
Oh, totally. And I think that's what makes you guys stand out as well, too. I mean, it's obviously when you guys are able to put out a full LP, it's always a great deal of excitement for me because, it is spaced apart. So, the fact that Grim Scary Tales was coming up on, it was 9 years ago now. So the fact that we get Carnival of Killers now, and, just waiting for that anticipation for there to be new music and getting reminded of what you guys are all about with trying new ideas, going left of center of what metal bands are supposedly supposed to do. And that's why I always keep going back and listening to you guys and loving you guys, because you really do stand out above the rest with what you do.
Well, I always, felt that there's really no rules in writing. It's an art form, and I write music and lyrics and stuff. There's really no rules to it, though. I think I can go any direction I want to go. Happy, country sounding in there, whatever I want to do. And as long as we're singing about the killers, I think we could pretty much do any style we want. And of course, I'm not going to do like rap music or anything like that, but I can pretty much go any direction I want to go. And I don't think you don't have the lyrics to it in front of you, but I really try to pronounce announce my vocals on there and make it where you can understand what I'm singing pretty much without even the lyrics in front of you.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do with the record as well, too. I mean, the more I listen to it, the more that I'm listening to the lyrics, and the more I'm enjoying it for that reason, too. And I'm able to appreciate where you're coming from with being able to tell the stories of all these killers. And yeah, I mean, this is the kind of album that is so worth repeated listens over and over to really capture what this album is about.
Well, believe me, I listened to it a lot of times to have to mix it. I had to go over and over it again, but I still enjoy it, and I really, in my opinion, I think it's our best album. It's my favorite album that we've done. It's a progression of Macabre to this point, and it's my favorite one we've done. And I hope people feel the same way.
Oh, I'm very much becoming that way, too. I just want to make sure I give it more spins to make sure I truly feel that way, but, like, as of right now, it is my favorite album that you guys have done, and, you know, everything from the music, the lyrics, the production is stellar on this thing, and, of course, the album artwork, too. I mean, I love the fact that it's a nice, sunny, partly cloudy day with all of these horrendous things going on at this carnival.
Yeah, the album cover was, I thought of the design and the concept and everything, and my friend from Australia, he's a great artist. He's really good. He could do any style. He could do, you know, like Leonardo da Vinci kind of paintings, and he's a tattoo artist also. So with technology today, you know, he's in Australia, so me and him kind of built it piece by piece. I want this like carnival kind of background with tents and stuff, and then he would just like create the killers one by one, and I would say, can you change this on there? So we went back and forth, you know, with smartphones, and he did it on computer. So it wasn't like a one-time deal. Like, here's the painting I did for you. We kind of created it over a couple months' time, and I've never had that before on an album. You know, this is the first time, and I really enjoyed doing it. You know, every couple days I'd get a new killer, and I'd say, let's change this on him, or let's move him over here, or, you know, just arranging it as we went. And finally, we got the whole thing completed, and I'm super happy with it. His name's Laz Ian, and people can find him on Facebook. I'm sure other bands are going to probably want to get art from him in the future.
Oh, totally. I mean, the more I look at this, the more I can see other bands being inspired to try different things. And, you know, the fact that he is so versatile with what he can do in that art form and being able to go off of what you're looking for, and also the fact that you were able to take the time to make this the way that you truly wanted it to be, rather than having to make it feel like it had to be rushed out. And, you know, you really got to take the time to make sure that all the killers got the detail that they deserve, and you mash it up with the music and making sure that's the best you can be. I mean, it's the best of everything that you guys could do, and it absolutely paid off for that.
Yeah, well, technology today, I mean, I wish I had smartphones years ago where I could do this. It was the same thing with the mix on there, where before, you know, we used to go in the studio and we'd mix an album, and I was kind of stuck with what we mixed that day, or several days, and now I can, you know, have the guy mixing it send me the songs, and I could say, let's raise the volume on this, and put a delay on this guitar solo, or anything I want to do, and I could go back and forth with them. So I have a lot more hands-on creative input into this, which I wish I would have had it years ago, but, well, at least I have it now. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the production on this album too, because everything just comes out so clear between your vocals, the instrumentation, being able to put everything together. It feels like everybody shines on this album. I mean, be it the band or the killers.
Yeah, I really like the recording too, and you know, it's the technology once again. You know, we used to go do 24 tracks on 2-inch tape and stuff, and now it's the digital thing. You have a lot more versatility with it. Oh. You know, the sound quality I think is great. I used a Kemper amp on this one that he had in the studio, which is a really high-end amp, and I could, like I said, I want to have a different guitar sound on this song or this, so I could use different amp sounds in there and everything. So yeah, just the gear these days is really advanced, and yeah, I just love the technology these days. It's great.
Oh, for sure. And the fact that you can get the right guitar tones that you're looking for, using the right mics to make sure that you can capture what you need to, and being able to mix that all together. I mean, the fact that studios are able to do that, the fact that recording software and production is so much cheaper than it used to be, especially when it came to analog tape, and you're able to do retakes after retakes and make sure you get it the way that you want it to. And Yeah, I mean, with 2020 being such a bad year, but the fact that you guys were able to take the time to make sure that this was the way it was, I think it's just a great sending off to 2020 because of how messed up this album is compared to how messed up 2020 is. I mean, it's almost like a perfect soundtrack.
Well, thank you.
So, with that in mind, I mean, obviously with being able to go about being able to help promote this album, and then hopefully in 2021 being able to put out shows. I mean, how have you been able to take the time with 2020 with everything going off the wall? I mean, what has it just been you working on the album to make sure it's the best it could be, or how else have you been able to get through all this?
Well, I just did the album along with my regular life as normal, but, everything is, I'm kind of a hermit anyway, so, I mean, I don't go out to bars all the time and hang out. I'm more of a thinker. I like, to sit at home and think about things and try to create music and stuff, so it's, as far as, my normal life, it hasn't changed that much in 2020. The mask thing and just all the rules now and shutting stuff down, and just been a bad year, that's all.
Oh, very much so. And yeah, that's all the reason more why I'm hoping that in 2021 we can slowly get back to some kind of normalcy. And like I was talking about at the beginning, I mean, this album definitely deserves that live promotion, being able to go out and play shows or mini tours or whatever the case is. I mean, just the crowds being there, being able to hear these songs live, mixed in with the classic songs. I mean, I think that's just going to make for an amazing time when that eventually happens.
Well, I can't wait. I really can't. It's like, especially, we had all kinds of festivals planned for this summer in Europe and everything. So they just said, okay, we're just going to postpone the same dates and same festivals till next year. So hopefully everything works out for the festivals next year. And I would just want to do a full tour, probably headlining it, with some other bands and stuff, where I have time to really do a lot of songs, because we have a lot of songs, and sport people are going to want to hear the old ones too. So that takes for a long show there, where, I'm going to probably have to try to play an hour and a half or something like that for a show for headlining.
Oh yeah, and I can imagine that it'll take a bit to be able to get back to that energy as well too. I mean, I can imagine a lot of bands, when they're finally able to go back out on tour, playing the festivals and everything, I mean, there's going to be a little rust there, but once that eventually goes away, it's just going to make the shows better and better. And obviously between both sides, with the bands and the fans, everyone's going to be able to appreciate those shows so much more, because we didn't know that they were going to be taken away from us this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I first start doing a tour or something like that, it takes a few shows for me to get warmed up and to get my voice to where I want it. But after a few shows, I start getting better every show. So that's usually how it works out.
Oh, I can totally imagine, and especially when it comes to this album too. I mean, with what you're doing on here, I just can't wait to see how that's going to be pulled off in that live setting, with everything that you're doing vocally and playing guitar and just everything that's going on there. I mean, it's just it's so cool, and yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic about that when it comes to 2021 and getting those shows back to normal, because as great as this is on record, I do want to see that in that live setting. And yeah, just getting out there, being able to go back on stage, being able to tour, doing the festivals, local shows, everything. I mean, that's what a band like you guys need to be able to do, and hopefully again that happens in 2021, because this album deserves it.
Yeah, for sure. With technology these days and stuff, I did a lot of layering on the vocals, where, several of me singing different parts and stuff. But with the technology these days, I can get pretty close live to doing it with effects and stuff to, make my voice sound like it did on the album. Oh,
I love hearing that too. And again, that's the benefits of technology.
We're only three guys, so it's, the live thing is, it's a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, we can pull it off.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the difference you got to take when, it's like a three-piece and there's layers on the album. You have to pick and choose what you can do or get the right technology to be able to fill things up the best. But it's the atmosphere of the live show, being able to hear these songs live, seeing you guys going full force with the songs. I mean, I think that makes up for a lot of like layers that sometimes don't make it in from the album, or other things that people might be missing?
Like I said, with technology these days, I'm gonna invest in some equipment so I can have all the effects and stuff on vocals like I did on the album. So I'm gonna try to make it sound like the album on there instead of, okay, it sounds a little plain there. No, I'm gonna try to make it sound like the album when I do it live.
Oh, I can't wait to see that live and hear how that comes out. And yeah, it's just so much to look forward to in the future. And of course, coming up in the future with November 13th with Carnival of Killers through Nuclear Blast. I love this album. The more I listen to it, the more that I love and enjoy it. So I think this is easily going to be one of my favorite albums of the year, and I think this will be eventually my favorite album that you guys have done. And it's just been awesome being able to talk to you about everything that's going on in your world right now, hearing the concept with the album, making sure this was the best album you guys could possibly do, and what to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to do a Macabre Minstrels album maybe next. We did EP of it called Morbid Campfire Songs in the past. It was me and the bass player doing two guitars and singing, but I'd like to add the drummer in there and have a three-beat. And I've been writing this Albert Fish album for about 30 years now. I never put it out, so I have a lot of songs for it called Fish Tales, and I'd like to do that. It's like children's music about Albert Fish eating little kids and stuff. So it's real sick and really nice vocals and really sick lyrics in there. So I'm kind of planning on that next, but I also have some songs that I didn't put on this album where I'm going to start working on another album just so we don't have quite as long of a wait as we did on this one. So I'm going to try to be a little more proactive and get some more stuff out.
Oh, that is so cool on both ends. I mean, being able to see a minstrel album like that, and yeah, I was wondering if there was any songs left over from this album, and the fact that you do want to take those songs, work them out the best they can for the next or the following release. I love to see that you're constantly thinking about that.
Yeah, we do. I do have some songs that we only had so much time in there with a budget, and so yeah, I do have some songs that I didn't do on this album, and I have so many ideas of other songs that I want to do, and like notebooks, lots of notebooks filled with different lyrics and parts that I wrote, and whenever I come up with an idea, I always have a notebook nearby where I can just say, okay, I'm going to forget this tomorrow if I don't write it down. So I have years of ideas of lyrics and stuff or parts, so I can just start from there and say, okay, I'm going to make a song out of this idea I thought of or whatever. So I have piles of notebooks full of stuff. So.
Oh, that's got me so excited to see everything that'll come in the future. And, I think with that, I think that's a great note to end on. I mean, especially looking forward to the future with new releases from Macabre and being able to hopefully see you guys touring in 2021. And it was just been an amazing time being able to talk to you about this album, about the band, what to look forward to in the future. It was a tremendous honor, and I thank you very much for taking the time to be able to talk to me.
Oh, well, I thank you very much. I'm glad you liked the album.
Oh, very much so, and I can't wait for everyone else to be able to check this out November 13th through Nuclear Blast. Before we wrap things up here, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
Well, I'd just like to thank all the bands, that supported us over the years and stuck with us. And, we have a lot of old fans that, always stuck with us. And hopefully we have a lot of new fans that maybe never heard us before. When this album comes out, that'll check us out and then go back on our back catalog. The Nuclear Blast is going to be releasing all the old albums also. So, we hope to make some new bands also. Because I thank all those people that supported us over the years. And I thank you very much for doing this interview.